Part 1. Unraveling. Chapter 1. Old woman. Empty space. Nothing there. There's nothing to replace it with. The Stone Tree estate sits in ruins. She is alone in this place, her home. The only company are the hordes of cats she keeps close by and under her bed. I'll be 96 this coming winter. She never liked the fact that she was born during the darkest, coldest part of the year. Late autumn days like these remind her of the vigor of her youth long lost. I wonder what kind of a person really is born in the winter, she asks herself. Are we the type of person plagued with dark thoughts? Thoughts that end dark early in the evening and start dark in the morning like all my winter birthdays do? Are we the kind of people that die young? At the age of 95, she can now only indulge in these musings and chuckle to herself. People have always thought of me as being cracked in the head in some way or another. I never quite fit in with people around me. No matter. I'm one for the textbooks on most days anyway. I'm proud of it, she says in a faint grunt. Look at Abby Normal walking down the street, the people would say. Most of these town folks found it irritating that I refused to look twice at their sons when they were young and beautiful, handsome and tall as they were. I've never figured out why it perturbed other people so much to know I couldn't care any less about them or their families as I do, she hissed with a defiant pant. I'm not cracked. I'm not vain. I've kept a clean house and a clean mind all these years and years and years and years. She hears a crash coming from inside her house, interrupting the constant monologue and her leisure time on the back of the wraparound porch. Those crazy cats must be at it again, she grumbles. Now that the kittens are getting older, I can only imagine the hordes that soon will follow the season ushering in yet another batch of newborns. I may have to invest in finding some homes for some of my babies this time. How many are there now? Oh, I just can't imagine having to part with any of them. Over the years, every generation has brought me such joy and not just a few laughs, she sighs. There have been many bouts of sickness that have scared her into thinking of calling a veterinarian. The vet would need to be one that could understand my great love for all the innumerable friends I have. The vet shouldn't look down on me for opening my heart and my home for so many. The vet must also be understanding enough not to turn me over to the authorities when they find out that some, just a few really, that didn't make it at birth, or that had sicknesses a cup of old vinegar down the hatch couldn't cure, had ended up getting put up in a pile upstairs, waiting for the day I will finally take the time to shovel beautiful graves for them out back. I like having them close by in the meantime. Yes, sir. The vet would need to be the type to also understand my ways and where my favorites in the many piles need to be kept. Many friends over the years just have to sleep after 12 years, or in her own personal record, 28 years of living. They just didn't have one more breath in them. They finally just fell asleep in my arms. She shuffles about the room, speaking in a sing-song tone. Those I put in special boxes under my bed. They'll need extra special graves dug in the front of the house. See? Everything's in order. I have it together today. Such beauties, these fuzzy four-pawed friends of mine. Bandit is my current favorite. Bandit? Where are you, Bandit? A heartbreaker, that one. He knows he's the cute one in all his long-haired, dark-spotted glory. He has newly discovered that climbing up to the highest point in my kitchen wins him the prize of finding Mama Rosie's tin of bobbins and doodads and used-up wheels of thread, huh? That must be where the crash came from now. If only I had started this project last spring when I had the suspicion that my favorite granddaughter was thinking it was time to become a mother. The kids had come by just the other week, was it? I knew it. I was right, she yells. We will indeed be having a new family member. For the glorious occasion, Rosie wanted to give the new baby a gift no other great-grandmother had ever given a great-grandchild in all the history of what she could only assume was the world. Not once in any book, newspaper, or pattern catalog have I seen, out of the thousands I have saved over the years, up in the attic somewhere, have I ever seen or heard of a great-grandchild receiving a knitted dollhouse. She was, after all, an architect. If anyone could pull it off, it would be her. I am an exceptional inventor. You know that? She asks, passing a herd of cats feasting on kibble, deaf to the familiar sound of their crunching. I will change the world. Soon children the world over will be asking for knitted dollhouses. As she had started to collect colored yarn from every one of the 20 rooms in and around the estate, she soon got the notion that if it really isn't the girl she feels it will be inside her granddaughter's yonder parts, then a dollhouse would be a really stupid gift for a baby boy. I can make a firehouse. One with a knitted fire truck and a cute little black and white spotted dog that sits out front waiting for the little knitted bell to sound. It will be perfect. I'll make the Dalmatian big enough for my great-grandson to be able to hold and snuggle up to before he can even play with a firehouse. Yes, that's what I'll do. Make a larger firehouse so that he can have a knitted dog now to play with. Around the mansion, she went looking for black and white yarn, but of course she had not been prone to buying black yarn for anything much in the past, due to her dark, wintry day of birth. Black was such a morbid color in her mind. I should have enough already. Balls of red and white. I know I've been collecting over the last, say, 45 years. There should be plenty of yarn to begin on the firehouse straight away. I must, since I've missed many months of knitting. I didn't have enough fortitude to go with my gut instinct. Waste no more time, she told herself. Right after lunch, I'll take my nap, and then, before any more time passes by, I'll run up to Gail's shop and grab enough black yarn to complete the Dalmatian. And what if it really is a girl, like I thought? Well, girls like dogs, too. Well, I've had it. Enough of the back-and-forth wishy-washy Rosie. I'll just knit a house. A playhouse. One that is big enough for the kids to play in and have even a real puppy in there if they want. Maybe it will be twins like the twins I had. Oh, wouldn't that be something? The thought of twins made her think back to long days on the farm out in the Dakota, where she and Pappy spent many a night calling out to the children, "Come on back home to the yard." They were indeed long nights, so very long ago. The scent of her environment reminded her now of her childhood. She was at least glad she had checked to see what mess Bandit had made. She had been able to clean up and have a bite before the afternoon had started. It was a morning accomplished and off to a good start. Each of the 15 rooms were given their own color of string. Because she had decided on a playhouse theme, all the various colors would be utilized. Under each door, there was a single thread that ran down the length of the grand staircase, leading to the foyer and passing by the 2 inner courtyards. Passing by the elaborate streams of color was quite a sight for Rosie. Pride filled her as she glanced down at her aging hands. Will they last her for the duration of the project, she wondered. What a beautiful rainbow of string. The blunt ends of each colored string came to rest at her feet, awaiting this unusual task. Rosie was happy to have found, ordered into colored groups, nipped and tied, what she could eyeball to be about 50,000 meters of yarn. Her estate was now home to just her and her 2,500 cats. Her knitted playhouse would by far dwarf any wooden playhouse some grandpa somewhere could hammer out. More hammering to his thumbs than the playhouse. She chuckled to herself. For years she had hoped that one day she could have something to fill the rooms of the mansion with. Now with the yarn to start the playhouse for the children, she did. She wore the key to each door on her apron. That way she could be sure that the cats would have no way of getting into the rooms to play feast on the 15 rooms stacked, ordered, and aligned, filled to bursting with balls of yarn. The starter skein, measuring close to 3 feet, is placed by itself in the single room left at the head of the grand stone staircase. The purchased skeins lie in wait for a determined tug to commence the project. The sound of the grandfather clock can be heard from the parlor where Rosie sits motionless in thought. Now, I've finished tying the yarned rooms together by stringing each room to the other, under all the doors. I figure I'll never have to open the doors because, as I knit, they should roll in perfect formation. This would enable her to have a nice, neat project. As soon as I wake up from my nap, I'll go up and make sure all the doors are closed and locked one last time. Little did she know, in her efforts to close and lock the doors, she had unlocked and opened all the doors. It will be a short nap, she promised herself. There was no more time to lose because she had been waiting so long to do something that the world could remember. This was her chance. If only the idea would have come to her sooner, like with the raising of her own children. Well, that would have made me a terrible mother. Oh, Rosie and Ella, you've knitted a playhouse, but your 8 children have spent another day at school with just their socks on. Never. I was a wonderful mother. Now is my chance to be creative and exceptional. No one will ever forget Rosie Sims, not if history went on and on and on and on and on. And so she slept. Peacefully and happily she slept. She dreamt of the magazine photo she would pass by each day. It's the photo of her leaning on her completed dollhouse, the twins inside, looking out of the life-sized windows on either side of a life-sized door. They were smiling up at their great-grandmother's laughing face, so full of life and love and happiness. The dream was so full and felicitous. She chuckled to herself in her sleep at the photo on the cover of the magazine in her hands, and took her last breath.